This is where you're going to get stellar Lumens XLM news fast in just 1 minute. Okay, maybe in 2 minutes. To help this channel, please be sure to like and subscribe. Decentralized open source software has several profound benefits, developed to be a community good rather than the property or business of a single company or person. At Meridian 2020, Tamika Tilleman, founder and director of Digital Impact and Governance Initiative at New America, talks about open source software.
We, earlier this year, released a big report called Building and Reusing Open Source Software in Government, specifically because in talking with our public sector partners, we recognized that this was a huge challenge and they didn't necessarily have the toolbox that they needed in order to be able to leverage these new solutions effectively. We see a couple of pretty basic things that can help move governments in the right direction. The first is you should have policies on the use of open source software, and your software should be open source by default. There may be some rare circumstances in which you need to use a proprietary solution, but when that is not the case, you should be, to Lucy's point, procuring open source solutions as the default. You really should be making sure that you're addressing misconceptions around security and open source software. Many organizations have, over time, gained the belief that open source software isn't as secure as proprietary software. That's just not the case if you look at the actual numbers and the research that's been done on this. But that perception is still pretty widely spread across government. You need to have people within your organization, as you mentioned, that understand open source tools and know how to use them. And you also need to be able to document your work when you're developing open source solutions so that others will be able to take those innovations that you have built out within your organization and apply them effectively across other geographies and other communities. So we see a number of emerging best practices in this space. We've tried to codify those, and there are other great organizations that are doing the same thing. And the good news is we're making progress. There has been a very tangible shift in the conversations we have with policymakers over the last few years in the right direction. So don't give up. We're getting there.